10 years ago when all this shit started, I was arm wrestling every month with these guys, and I'm traveling, I'm putting in the work. Not because I care about my legacy as much as I'm trying to make money.
Right.
And I think that the different roads that Devin and Michael Todd have taken were them worried about their legacy more than they were worried about their financial situation. And I sold out my legacy a long time ago in order to chase, not only make arm wrestling a sport, but also make it economically viable for someone. Right. So if you could blow arm wrestling up, to me, there are jobs that can occur, right? Tournament directors, referees, ways to make money. Because to me, there's never been a whole lot of money in winning at arm wrestling.
But that's where you started, though. This is where you started the whole conversation, was your value system, right? So and I think for arm wrestlers out there, you got to figure out what is your values. So you're making it economically viable, right?
Of course.
That is your core value. And then your other values are your family, being able to take your time off during football season to follow your son and your other son and your daughter, and that's your core values. Yes. So all of us, being honest with ourselves and being honest with the world, I think is kind of what separates you. And I know what my value system is. It's just competition. I don't want to be old. You know what I mean? And I hate losing, and I enjoy winning, and I enjoy competing. So for me, it's not about money. Money's a bonus. And I know early on, I was like, some of these guys, they're only worried about money, and there's a lot of people, coming up in the amateur ranks, like, how could this guy expect to only go to a tournament to make money? And I'm not even talking about you. I'm just talking about some of the local PA guys. Of course. And I've heard a lot of amateurs and even long-time, like, mediocre pros criticize guys like Sam and Storm. Well, now I kind of understand it. Like, if you're going to take time away from your family, and if you're going to travel, and you're going to train, you're going to do all these things, this is all a price that you have to pay for whatever your values are. So my value might be a medal at this point in my career. But then there's also the other things that you're offsetting, so a few extra dollars never hurts either. But my core value system really is just competition, and I like to think that I'm on the same path as you. I can compete and do what I'm enjoying and loving, and I can also help grow the sport. And I do think, for some of the criticism you do take, you're probably growing the sport as much, if not more, than guys like Devin, because you're traveling around. And regardless of if you're making money or not, the sport is still growing. And that's the same thing that people talk about the Kings move and all this other controversial stuff. Is it good? Is it bad? Who knows? But guess what? People are seeing it. Then the flip side is does the good outweigh the bad? But the reality is I think that, like you talk about WAL, they're ushering us into the next era. But I don't think that's where it stops. So and I'd be interested to see what's your 10-year plan for arm wrestling, because I'm sure you plan on making money off of arm wrestling for a long time.
Yeah, well, I struggled last year. Right, came out, made a cool $192,000. Right, and that.
Where's that? Is that in the hole in the ground?
But I will tell you this. No, it's been spent.
I brought myself.
I spent $240. But I made $192. I will tell you this. I made very little of that because I was arm wrestling another person for prize money.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, arm wrestling for me is a platform that allows me to rock the mic and do some marketing for other companies.
But this is all athletics. This is all professional athletics. So until we as fans, we as competitors, we as human beings on this planet can understand that a baseball player gets drafted and gets his opening contract, signing bonus of $30 million or whatever, and the contract lasts however long, and they're like, oh my goodness, we're sitting back. How can this man be worth $200 million? Well, there's somebody else out there writing the check, and that's the guy who's worth more money. So in all athletics, there's always the guy who's writing the check. So if you really want to be wealthy, then you want to write the checks, not cash them, right?
They said the guy used to tell Shaq, here, Shaqy, go buy yourself a pretty Corvette, right? And you thought Shaq had money, but it's the guy who gave Shaq that check.
And we don't, we as fans in this world, a lot of times we don't acknowledge that. And we're brought up as kids, as athletes, right, to say, be a professional athlete. What are you working for? Work for a scholarship. Okay, what's a scholarship worth? It's not worth anything to the university because they're making hundreds of millions of dollars off of that. Your scholarship that they're giving you essentially an idea of an education. So I think, like, as a whole, when we look at these things, professional sports, and then we look at what you're doing, there has to be somebody to do that, right? So if you want to be rich, go or go be a professional athlete. If you want to be wealthy, they'll own a team.
Amen. And two, I think that really I'm not arm wrestling. I'm just having arm wrestling distribution company. So the fact is that whoever can distribute makes the money, right? So it doesn't matter that you have the soda. It's that you can have somebody. You got to put it in the vending machine and somebody got to buy it, right? So for me, I have no problem traveling around to a city that a sponsor has already paid me to do something there, and then go ahead and have one of my arm wrestling tournaments. I've also went to this $100 entry fee, which makes small turnout tournaments, which I think are the best tournaments, right? Tournaments that have 40, 50 guys. Once you get into the 100 guys, now you got a real job on your hand trying to coordinate it. It ends up not being that fun of an event.
So elaborate on that, please, because I know that your series, and in Pennsylvania, we're going to have one.
Yeah.
So the $100 fee, right? Not my idea. I'll help you promote and everything.
Of course.
But I think it's important that you now have this platform, social media platform,
no doubt,
that you can explain your logic. Because there's always two sides to a story. So, I think it would be a great opportunity to explain to the
no doubt.
folks
Well,
how
first and foremost,
works.
the $100 entry fee is right away has to pay more than any tournament that you've been to throughout the year. So you tell me, besides the World Arm Wrestling League, have you went to a tournament? When's the last tournament you went to that they paid out $1,700?
The NAL.
Right. Exactly. And then besides that, there's not, people talk about all these other tournaments, but no other tournament that I know of gives almost any cash away.
Right.
Now, there are a few $350 prizes out west, but the time that I deal with the plane ticket and stuff, I know that that's not a very viable thing to me. So the first thing we did is we upped the ante, right? It used to be, it cost me about $150 if I wanted to throw an event, right? I just had to get some awards and make this happen, right? Tell the referee I'd pay him if things worked out. But really, just go to my buddy and let my buddy know that, hey, this is what I'm doing. And if I'm ever in your town and you need me to do something for you, I'm in, right? But don't think it's exactly the same. Like, I'm coming to your town and I'm doing all the work once I get there. I'm not just dropping it off to you, right? Trust me, nobody works any harder at the tournaments than me. But the fact is that what we want to do as my obligation for this $100 bill is to, first of all, the fact is there's only 30 guys showing up at the tournaments, right? So we start off with $3,000, right, if everybody pays. With that $3,000, you have the opportunity to win $200 each arm, so you can have $400, or you can pull multiple classes, right? As long as, the only person that kind of can tell me he's a little get screwed is the super heavyweight one-arm puller who is not an amateur. He's a pro guy. So those guys just don't exist. And honestly, if you are that guy, come talk to me and we'll work on it. But the fact is, you're going to register, you're going to give me that $100 bill, you're going to pick a right and a left-handed class, and you're going to know that you have the opportunity to pull in the team competition at the end, right? So the fact is, you can get $400 and you can win a combat arms.
So realistically, if you take full advantage of it, you're paying at least $33 an arm.
Well, and you're getting a competition shirt. So I would say that you're paying about $25 an arm. $25 an arm with a $25 NAL t-shirt, right? If you don't want to pay $25 on the NAL, I understand, but listen, then you paid $50 for the thing and you got a free shirt. You can say you paid $100 for the shirt and you pooled for free. I don't care. But if the 32 people pay the $100 and I give out the $1,700, I got enough money there to pay for my airfare and the hotel, and it's all good. And if it doesn't work out and only 15 people show up, guess who's pulling in the super heavyweights? This guy. So I'm only going to give away $800, and I'm going to stack the team and make sure I keep the table. So the fact is, if the low numbers work out, the league will not die because it doesn't have money to fund the events. And if a lot of people show up to the tournament, then I make a shitload of money. That's a great thing too for me. However, I know that it's a 50-person tournament. That's the way they are. If we have 100 people, we're going to struggle to take care of them.
But here's the flip side to it too. You stand the chance of 25 people to showing up and you technically lose money or you don't make money.
Exactly, and I'm totally okay with that only because I'm at that tournament because someone else has already paid me to be there. That's the secret. I think that people think that someone could travel around and just make money on entry fees. And the fact is you cannot buy airplane tickets, get hotel rooms. There are 3 tournaments every weekend, everywhere, right? So the person who is worried about the money I make is an amazing person to me because I have never, ever been jealous of someone else's hustle, right? I've been jealous of the way they look, how big their dick is, but never because they're fucking money. Like, I don't understand it. And Trust me, if you're jealous of my money, you must be a broke motherfucker, yo. Because, I mean, not many people would want to fly 72 times a year to make $150,000 a year. Trust me, I am a salesman, dude. If I picked a different platform, I could make a lot of money. Like, I know I can sell campers with Jerry Carteret. I know I can sell cars, right?
Well, do you ever sit down and rethink that? Like, you know.
Of course, but here's what I know more than ever. I know who I am,
right?
I'm going to let you down on Wednesday if I work for you Monday and Tuesday.
Right.
When I get to the job on Monday, if you hired me, you're going to call your boss's boss and say, hey, I just hired the baddest dude you ever seen.
And by Wednesday?
The dude came in here and he changed everything. The morale, everybody loves this guy. He's the shit. On Tuesday, it's going to be a little less impressive. However, the momentum from Monday is going to carry us, right? I will not see you on Wednesday. No way I'm coming to work on Wednesday. When I get back Thursday, I'm going to be 25% of the person I was on Monday and Tuesday. But I got to leave on the weekend too. I can't work on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But come Monday, I'm going to give it to you again, right? But so I know that that's the only job I would take, because I know that if you tell me I could work 65 hours a week to make double the amount of money, and I know what $300,000 looks like after the tax man gets a hold of it, it looks a lot like the 190 I made all cash, right? So right now I get to go to my kids' football practice Monday through Thursday. On Friday, if we're not in season, then I get on that airplane and I'm back home on Sunday to start it again. If the season's in, then the tournament switched to Sunday, and I leave right after the game on Saturday. The tournament happens on Sunday, and we move right along.
And we're back to values. Right back to values.
That makes me happy. I think that pursuit of happiness is what we're all about. It's not that you'll ever actually be happy, but the pursuit of it is what we're looking for. I like to act like I'm really happy, hoping that other people will be happy too, rather than telling them I'm a horrible about all the problems I have in my life. And then, so do me a favor. If you see me on the street, tell me the good shit. I don't want to hear about your diabetes and your grandma dying. Yeah, keep that shit to yourself, man, right? It's just like if you break your arm at the tournament. Don't ruin it for everyone else. Get your arm in the sling and get out of here.